Hey, welcome to Credit Makes Sense with Netiva, the Frugal Creditista, where we talk about money, credit, and everything in between. Super excited to be here with you guys today as we help our partner make sense of how to properly budget her side income from her regular income. So let's make sense of some things. If you don't know me, I am the owner of the financial education services firm, M&H Financial Services, where we help women and couples over 30 to create custom credit solutions so they can crush their financial goals. I also own the bomb.com Financial Literacy School, Credit on Fire Academy, where we teach our students how to master their money, destroy their debts, and soar their credit scores so they can leverage it to create wealth. Let's get started. As always, I like to read the question verbatim for you guys, honestly, because of my memory. Hi, Netiva. I actually have two regarding this situation. So I'll read the first one. Hi, Netiva. I drive for Uber, and I'm currently wondering how to budget this additional income. The other question says, hi, Netiva. I do a combination of different side hustles, primarily Lyft and Uber. Wondering how to integrate it into my monthly budget. I heard some of your suggestions on your webinar. All right, so let's make sense of some things. I held a budgeting webinar not too long ago that was bomb.com, where I literally revealed how I got over being over $500,000 in debt, how we bought our first home in cash, and so much more. So one of the things that I always mention is to make sure you give your dollars a job. Money is a tool. It needs a job in order to be able to properly function and achieve things for us. So when you talk about how are you going to budget or how are you going to integrate into your budget, I always wonder, well, you know, why did you get the side hustle in the first place? I know why I got my side hustles. I got them because the money that I was bringing in my 9-to-5 wasn't enough to do what I needed to do or wanted to accomplish within the time frame that I wanted to accomplish it in. If I was keeping just my main 9-to-5 job, then that means very little was able to trickle into paying off debt. Very little was able to trick into purchasing my first home. Very little was able to trick into vacationing, just stuff, okay? Vital things, needs, wants, all of that good stuff. So incomes, the side hustle, to supplement the income that you need in order to do what you want to do, desire to do, need to do in a time frame that you desire to do it, right? So what is the job that you have for your dollars? As far as the technicality, some people will combine all of the income in what I call a money home or your deposit account. And that's typically where your direct deposit goes. And I believe Uber has a method of you, because I have some clients that get their Uber income daily, and then I have some that gets it like weekly. So I'm not sure which one you guys are. But it can kind of confuse some things for some people because of how much or how many different types of side hustles are coming into that account, when it's coming into the account, and really gauging how much they are making on that side hustle. Like for me, it confused me. I'm gonna be real with you guys. So I like to have the side hustle, have the home, and then my 9-to-5 when I had it at the time to have a home. So out of the 9-to-5 money, I made sure that all of my living expenses were covered with that, and that was its home. And then I had the side hustle income, and that's because the side hustle income did like this. And so I had to be able to gauge, number one, how much it costs to have this side hustle. Number two, to get a consistent amount that was coming in that I could begin budgeting off of. I'm very big on something that's fixed. And then number three, making sure that I had a goal for where that money was going to go. So number one, how much does it cost to run a side hustle? This is super important, especially if you have a side hustle that's eventually going, or that you desire to be your full-time gig. You want those incomes separate anyway. You want the complete finances separate anyway. So this was a good practice for me because eventually my side hustle, AKA my business now, financial education services, needs to be separate from what I do for my home. Same with you. So it allowed me to see how much more am I now paying gas? How many more times am I going to get oil changes and other cart maintenance? How much more times am I going to wash my car? This is for you. I never did Uber, but I'm saying it for you. Do I have to wash my car? Me personally, I did comparative market analysis. I did broker price opinions, credit repair, budgeting, and debt payoff plans. Those were my side hustles. Mystery shopping, I did it all. So I kept the side hustle over here. Start getting a gauge of how much it costs to run my side hustles, because then instead of having that money pulled from my regular 9-to-5 income, the side hustle had to sustain itself. It had to pay for its own expenses, and then it gave me a good idea of what my real income is, your net from that side hustle. It let me know what I'm really making. And so therefore, before I took money out of that side hustle home, that side hustle deposit account, I now knew I had to leave this amount for gas, this amount for upcoming car expenses, this much for car washes, refreshments for your customers, that has to stay in the home. And you can find out that amount by getting how much does this cost, how often am I purchasing, divide it. This is how much I need to save out of each weekly income. I don't know how you're doing it. Coming out of that account. So basically, this is how much I have left after I subtract those expenses to then begin sending the money where. You see why I had to separate the two? Because trying to figure all that out in one account was confusing me. But separating it and then getting a running tab of the expenses associated with sustaining, maintaining, and growing the side hustle, that allowed me to see, okay, these are the expenses. This is how often I'm doing it. Leave those expenses in there out of each check, and then decide where I'm going to send the side hustle money going. Is it going to beef up your savings? If you're working off of a week emergency fund, that's super important. I really like having at least 1 month of living expenses in an emergency fund versus just $1,000. But honestly, it really depends on how much your expenses are, and you can only know that by reviewing your financials, which we discussed in the webinar. Number two, it can go towards, debt or whatever you want it or you desired or you selected for your side hustle income to go. I know one of the questions is going to come up, how do I know how much to put into savings and how much to put into debt? Which one do you need to build first? For me, I needed at least that 1 month's living expenses. So I did like, I think I did like 50-50. Then eventually, once I got that 1 month's living expenses, and it was like 20-80, then, 20 to savings, 80 towards debt. And then it was like 20, 20-80. I think I did 10-90% at one point, 30-70 until it started like flipping once the debt started. Basically, the debt was gone. So that's that. So that's how I personally did it. I had to separate the two. But first, you have to know what you're working towards. Where is that money going to go? How much it costs to run your side hustle. All of those are good feedback for you to begin deciding then what you're going to do with the money. So then you can take the net, you can put it into your 9-to-5 money, because now it's going to be working towards the same goal that your 9-to-5 is. You can direct it wherever you want to go from there. So that's how I did it. Try it out. Let me know how you, we'll try it out. Let me know what you think. Let me know what's working, what's not working, and we can kind of brainstorm from there. I know a lot of my partners, you guys have side hustles, so definitely post suggestions on how you have been working out your side hustle money, income, etc., and how you've budgeted and integrated. And also let her know, give our partner some encouragement on what you've been able to accomplish by having your own side hustle. So hope this helps. If you have any questions for me for my next Credit Makes Sense segment, you can send them to social@mnhfinancialservices.com, social@mnhfinancialservices.com. For the other young lady that posted a question, I am going to stop this one on budget and answer the credit question and the home ownership question on side hustles in a separate video. So chat soon.